Do you ever wonder how to get that clean, professional look in your YouTube videos without spending a fortune? In this video, I'm breaking down my entire lighting setup to show you how I achieve this look and how I do it without breaking the bank. If you want to see how you can go from this to this, stick around. I want to talk about why lighting is so important. Lighting is what sets the tone for your video. It's what helps people focus on you. When your lighting is dim, it makes you unclear. It makes you look less professional. And lighting that's done really well can actually make you look like you know what you're talking about, even if you don't. Lighting goes a long way to solving the problem of credibility, at least at first. So getting your lighting right is really important. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the different kinds of lights that I use, including my key light, my fill light, my backlight, and my practical lights. And if you don't know what any of that is, I will fill you in on all of it. And as always, there will be links in the description to the different equipment that I use if you want to check it out for yourself. All right, first up is going to be my key light, which is right here, and it's called the Aperture Amaran 200XS. This light is wonderful. It does a lot of different things, but it focuses on making the subject of your video, that's you, the person, look awesome. I have it set in the 40% brightness, and I have it at about 4100 Kelvin. Typically, the higher the Kelvin, the more warm the tone, the lower the Kelvin, the more cool the tone. And so if you want it to be true to life, you go a little bit higher on the Kelvin. I have my light kind of wrapped in the Dome Light Mini 3. This is an incredible dome because what it does is it disperses the light so that as the light falls on my face, it's not pointed in any one place. It's softened and it's diluted a little bit so that it gives me a nice glow. It's really meant to mimic like sitting in front of a window. The problem with a window for lighting is sometimes a cloud rolls by and it affects the shade of the light or the intensity of the light. You don't get that with a professional light, and so a window's a good start, and this mimics what a window does if it was just perfect all the time. And this is on a stand, and it's a newer 10-foot heavy-duty stand, and it's actually on wheels, so I can move it around my house and record in other ways, which is awesome. And in terms of keeping this budget-friendly, this is my least budget-friendly part of my lighting setup. The reason for that is because I decided that if I was going to spend money on anything, it was going to be my key light. It was going to be what shines on my face, because everything else I can kind of phone in, but this light needs to do the job, and it needs to do the job really well. The second light is going to be a fill light, and it's actually positioned behind my key light, and its job is to just provide kind of general brightness to the area in front of my camera. So it's not directly on my face, it's actually kind of positioned behind the key light, but it lightens up kind of the area so that it's not dark. The darker it is, the more I have to mess with my camera to take the light in. And I want it to be dark-ish so that my background and the practical lights show up, but I don't want to be too dark. And so its job is to give a little bit of brightness to this kind of area that I'm in. It's the Amaran P60C. It actually comes with its own softbox and grid so that it can disperse its own light. It actually does a lot of cool things. It can do whatever color you want, but I actually just have it matching my key light. So it's about 4100 Kelvin at about 50% power. And so it does the job of kind of filling this space. Next, we move on to my backlight. My backlight is a very simple panel LED that I got on Amazon. Again, I'll link it in the description. I'll link all these, but it came with a stand. It actually is a little bit cooler than my other lights. And some people might think that this breaks some rules, but what I like about it is it lights up this side of my face where my key light is lighting up this side of my face, and at the front of my face, this is lighting up this side and kind of the back. And I actually kind of like the look that it doesn't exactly match. That's just me. It's a preference. A lot of this is preference. Okay, now we move on to my practical lights, and I have almost all of them against this back wall in my studio. I'll start with the floodlights that are shining from the ground up or from certain shelves up. Olefus 25 watt RGB floodlight. I've got a few of these. I can set these to any color that I want using a remote. And so I can change the mood and the tone of the wall behind me just simply by changing the colors of these lights. And what they do is they just give a little bit of interesting stuff behind me. That's really all that I'm going for. I painted that wall a darker color and I added the lights to it, and it gives a little bit of a different feel back there. Next is the Govee RGB IC floor lamp. It's color changing. It's got Wi-Fi, 64 plus scene modes, and music sync. It's a pretty impressive light. What I like about this is, number one, it can be any color that I want. I actually face it away from me, so it shines on the wall behind me and creates a little bit of a vertical glow. I've seen some people where they turn it and face it towards the camera, turn it down a little bit, and it can be a nice kind of glow effect behind you. And then finally, I have a simple curved floor lamp. I put an Edison bulb on it with a very warm tone, and it allows me to create an ambiance behind me next to the little house plant. So now what I want to do is I want to build my light setup one light at a time so you can see how all this comes together. So right now the only light coming into my studio is this window, but I've closed the blinds because typically when I light my office here, it's completely closed, but light still does come through because it's daytime. So the first light that's going to come on is my key light, the Amarin 200XS. Okay, so now you can see just the key light is on and nothing else. The background has not been lit in any way. I'm gonna go ahead and add my backlight so you can see what it looks like to shine some light on the back of my head. Now we have the key light and the backlight. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the Edison lamp back here to give a little bit of that kind of feel. So now we have the key light, the backlight, and the Edison. As you can see, this is a different feel. Maybe this is a little bit more pensive, a little bit more serious. I'm gonna go ahead and add the fill light, which is right behind my key light. So this is with the fill light, the key light, the backlight, and that one practical light, the Edison. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my floor lamp, the LED floor lamp. It uses this remote, and so I can actually just hit the remote and it came on. So now we have a little bit of a glow, and if I move, you can kind of see it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the floodlights. That uses this remote here, and I'll turn those on now. And that's everything. If you're wondering, there are 4 floodlights. 2 of them are shining blue, 1 is shining white, and 1 is shining a little bit kind of pinkish purple. The reason why I'm passionate about helping you with your light setup is I love to help people make content-based online businesses. And if you can make content well, it can drive leads to your business and put money in your pocket. I love to show people how to do that over at my workshop called the Turn What You Know Into Dough workshop. It's over at lanesebring.com/workshop. I'm gonna show you the 4 steps to making your first $1,000 a month consistently online in your spare time. This is all part of showing you how to do that first step in there, which is content. Because if you can hone in your content, you can build an audience, you can serve them well, and you can make a great income doing it. Again, that's all at lanesebring.com/workshop. Links to everything I mentioned in this video are in the description below. Be sure to check them out to get current pricing. If this video helped you, be sure to hit the like button and let me know in the comments, what does your lighting setup look like? If you want to know more about my key light, the Amarin 200XS, I actually made a video on it, and you can check that out right here.